Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
It's finally happened. Oh my gosh, it's finally happened. Daniel Jones has finally been set down. It's official. The news came out this morning that Daniel Jones has officially been benched. And I mean, I saw this coming, as we pretty much all did last week, where you saw me putting out that video. Some people were like, I won't believe it until I see it. Well, you saw it now. You saw it now. Daniel Jones is officially taking a seat for the rest of the season. And we probably will not see this guy over my right shoulder again. Probably won't see him again in a Giants uniform. And first off, listen, the man had his issues, he had his problems, but let me give him a little applause for fighting it out, being a hard worker, being tough. I would not question the guy's effort. He just didn't have what it took to be a varsity athlete. He did not have the makings of a varsity athlete, if you know what I mean there. But Daniel Jones is officially done. There were some rumors that they were going to give him 2 or 3 more weeks, and I just wasn't buying it. Coming out of the bye week, he's played well in times. He hasn't played well at other times, but he has not really been able to consistently be a quarterback that you want to pay $50 million to next year. Now, people were thinking that if Daniel Jones was getting benched, it would be for Drew Lock. But it's not for Drew Lock, it's for Tommy Cutlets. It's for Cutlets. And I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, I think Tommy DeVito may, may give us the best chance to win. Definitely gives us the best chance to win out between him and Drew Lock from what we've seen from Drew Lock in the Giants jersey. But DeVito, we saw last year, he had his struggles, he had his ups, he had his downs, but he just really just rounded up the team, rounded up the squad, got everybody hyped up, had the fans hype, and I think we'll probably see some nice performances at home that we have not been able to see with Daniel Jones at quarterback. And I think it was just time to make that move. So DeVito is going to be the starter. Drew Lock is not going to be the starter. I mean, Drew Lock is getting paid $5 million this year. Getting paid $5 million this year, and he's not going to start in this situation. We all were thinking that if Daniel Jones struggled, that Drew Lock would be the guy up. We were thinking like Drew Lock is going to slide right in there if Daniel Jones starts off 2-3 weeks, with an issue. But lo and behold, we are what? I mean, 10 weeks in, and Daniel Jones is being benched, and Drew Lock is not going out there. He's still your backup. Again, I said it a couple of times. Shout out to Drew Lock. I got to meet him in person in the airport a couple of months ago, and he was a nice guy with his family. I think he just had a kid. So shout out to Drew Lock. All these people are people too, but he just didn't look good in training camp. He didn't look good in preseason. And we were thinking, I mean, from what we saw last year in Seattle, that he was going to be a guy that would come in here and challenge Daniel Jones, but he just hasn't played up to that part. So it's really a waste of $5 million. It's really a waste of $5 million because he's not going to play this year unless there's an injury, which I don't want anybody getting hurt. So he's really not going to play this year. He's getting paid $5 million. And it just stinks because that money could have gone towards Xavier McKinney. That money could have gone towards that money could have gone towards Tyrod Taylor. That money could have gone towards another offensive lineman, another defensive tackle. It could have gone to Ashawn Robinson. That money could have gone a lot of places, but we saw it very crucial to pay Drew Lock that money, and it's just a shame we're not going to get anything out of it. I mean, it's just a shame there. So that is the plan. Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets. Last year he went 3-3. A lot of people despise Tommy because he came out there and won 3 games when we were trying to tank to get that #1 or #2 overall pick. And I think he's going to do the same thing again this year. I mean, to be honest with you folks, we're already picking 5th. I think there's like a 6-way tie at like 2-8. So we're already picking 5th. And I just think that we're going to end up looking at this and saying Tommy DeVito just won just enough games to get us out of the top 4. I think we'll be picking somewhere around 5, 6, 7, and we're going to have to make a trade if we want to get to those top 2 picks. Now, this year we may have a little bit better chance because I think some people are going to like Cam Ward, some people are going to like Shador Sanders, but I don't think they're going to be consensus guys. the way that they were last year, as far as Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. So I think we may be able to get one of those guys at like pick 3 or pick 4. So maybe trading up is a little easier this year, especially when you got the team like the Panthers, who some of their fans are talking about. They want to bring back Bryce Young. They want to bring back Bryce Young, and they want to see him get another shot. So that could eliminate a team. If the Cowboys lose some games, that could eliminate a team. So we could be in a situation where it becomes easier to go out there and get a quarterback. So we are in the best situation that we could possibly be, because not like last year, Tommy DeVito's coming in. We're on the road to getting a new quarterback. And whatever Tommy DeVito does, if Tommy DeVito goes out there and wins the rest of the games, worst case disaster scenario, Tommy DeVito has not a resurgence, but a breakout where he just goes out there and plays better than Daniel could have ever thought of. He just looks great. I mean, everything under the sun. That's possible, not likely, but if he does that and he wins out and for some reason we end up in the playoff picture or whatever, at the end of the day, Daniel Jones is not going to be back here next year. So it's not going to be year 7 of proving it. It's not going to be year 7, year 8 of proving it. So worst case scenario, Tommy DeVito is our bridge quarterback for a year. We get our guy. But I think even if he plays us out of a position to trade up and go get that quarterback, I think the Giants will be looking to take a guy like Milroe or a guy like Quinn Ewers or any one of these other, tier 2, tier 3 quarterbacks, whether it be mid first round, whether it be late first round where you trade up to get a nice pick so you can have that 5th year option. I think we are in the market for a quarterback, and one is going to be drafted regardless. And as you see, Bo Nix was laughed at, and Bo Nix looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. A guy that wasn't drafted in those top 2 picks. Jaden Daniels, of course, looks great. Caleb Williams has had his struggles, but again, Bo Nix looked good. JJ McCarthy before he got hurt looked good. And then you look at Michael Penix Jr. I think it's only a matter of time before he eventually gets in there in Atlanta. Maybe next year. Maybe Kirk Cousins is our quarterback next year. But I think it's only a matter of time before Penix gets in there and looks good. And I think with the right coaching staff, we take a guy like Milroe mid first round, another one of those guys with a ton of talent. I am very excited to be a Giants fan. I just really hope that they handle this offseason the right way. If you plan on getting rid of Brian Dable, I'm not really standing in line for it to get rid of Brian Daniel. What am I talking about today? To get rid of Brian Dable, I'm not necessarily standing in line. But if you get rid of Brian Dable, get rid of Joe Shane. Bring in the coach and the GM at the same time. Bring in a coach, bring in the GM, bring in a quarterback. They screw up, they all can go. None of this firing the GM, none of this firing the coach. Bring them all in at once, get rid of all of them at once. So I'm excited to see what happens this offseason. And I'm excited to see Tommy Cutlass again, because I know he's going to be a lot more entertaining than Daniel Jones. He just is. He just got some of the it factor that DJ doesn't have. And then too, I mean, neither one of them were really great at creating explosive plays, but it just seemed with the eye test that Tommy DeVito was much more likely to pull the trigger earlier on in the play. He may be able to process just a little bit better on some of these throws. I don't think he's a better overall quarterback, but he may just have a couple advantages that are going to help guys like Malik Neighbors, help guys like Jalen Hyatt. And again, I'm excited to see it. Shout out to Daniel Jones for putting his body on the line for this team, for doing what he was doing for as long as he did. I'm not happy that we had to see him play for as long as we did, but I am appreciative that he went out here and put his body out on the line, because no one can say that this guy came here and hot dogged it and just, treated it like vacation. So shout out to him. We're going to keep things moving, and let's get it. Let's get things going with Tommy Cutlets. We're going to get things going.